We are going to continue from where we left off yesterday. We started learning about Elul, Slichos, Shofar. We discussed 3 or 4 reasons yesterday why we blow the shofar, specifically in the beginning of Elul. Should reference that if you already didn't. It's around 20 minutes yesterday. What we did, we discussed a little bit about Slichos, some interesting allusions, some ideas. That was yesterday. Today we are going to move on to the first Mishnah Berurah after his introduction, which we learned yesterday. The Mishnah Berurah in Aleph, the Mishnah Berurah comments and says, Elul ve'elech. The Shulchan Aruch, this is going on the Shulchan Aruch, and says that the custom is, this is the custom with Sfardim. They start saying Slichos from Elul and onwards. Comes along the Mishnah Berurah and says, Aval beroish chodesh gufa, ein oimrim slichos v'tachanunim. But on Rosh Chodesh itself, we do not say slichos and these praises on Rosh Chodesh itself. We don't say it. V'chein hanohagim loimer tehillim kol elul im atachanunim yihirotzen. Similarly, those who have the custom to say tehillim the entire month of Elul with the tachanunim of Yehirotzen, they should not begin it ein lahaschil berosh chodesh. They should not begin that on Rosh Chodesh. So this, for the Sfardim, the difference would be after Rosh Chodesh, not on Rosh Chodesh itself. So that is an important point that is pointed out. Again, wouldn't make a difference for the Sfardim, but that's the idea over here. I don't think that the Dirshu has a note on this, but let's see what they say over here. Okay, so the Dirshu, if you're following in the Dirshu, they go back to the Maluim on page 28 in the back. And I don't think that they comment on this. No, they don't comment on this one. Okay, so let's continue to move. You do it until Yom Kippur. And this is also what we do as well. Comes along the Mishnah Berurah in base. Make it a little bit bigger for whoever wants to follow over here on the screen. Ad Yom Kippur. V'nohagen b'mi dinaseinu meroish chodesh Elul ad Yom Kippur. Right. The custom in our provinces, in our countries, aka Ashkenazic places, is to say, Loimar b'kol yom is to say after davening. Freezing up, it's too zoomed in. After Gamar Hatfila, after the completion of Shachris, Mizmor ledovid, ledovid Hashem Ori, B'chulu, etc. We say ledovid. And then afterwards you say a Kaddish. V'oimrim achoyrov Kaddish. And then you say afterwards a Kaddish over there. We say it up until the end of Sukkot, up until Shmini Atzeres and including Shmini Atzeres. Ubiyoim sheyesh bo musaf acher gamar tefila shachris koidim in kamocho. And we say it on a day where there's musaf after the completion of davening shachris before in kamocho. Ube'erev acher tfilas mincha. And we say it at night after mincha. What does this mean, ube'erev after mincha? That actually is a massive discussion in of itself. This means we say it after mincha. Ube'erev after mincha. And at night we say ledovid after mincha. We do? I thought we do it after Maariv. What does the Mishnah Berurah over here mean? First of all, let's point out the Elif Lamata, this is quoted by the Oz V'Hadam Mishnah Berurah, says that the foundation of this custom is based on the Medrash Shulchan Tov and Siman Chav Tes that says, L'David Hashem Uri. Uri refers to Rosh Hashanah, and Yishi stands for Yom Kippur. And then Ki Yitzpanenu B'Sukkah, that alludes to Sukkot. So you get all three of these holidays over here in. Now, over here, it should be pointed out that the Oz V'Hadam Mishnah Brew in footnote Hey says that in Israel, they have the custom not to say ledovid on Shmini Atzeres. And that's also the custom of the Chazon Ish. What would be the reason for the difference of those who live in Israel and those who don't? That's because the idea of saying it until Sukkot, the idea behind that is because you mentioned Nikiyat B'nai B'Sukkah. You're gonna hide me in the sukkah over there. And in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel, we sit in the sukkah on Shmini Atzeres. Therefore, you would say Shmini Atzeres. What does this mean over here when we say Ube'erev Acher Mincha? Mishnah Berurah says you say ledovid at night after Mincha. So, you know, I'm just gonna pull this up, just like we did yesterday. In footnote Vav, they point out that some of the customs say ledovid after Marav. Okay, so this is ledovid after Marav. Try to zoom in, make it easier. There we go. Some of the customs say it after Marav. The Sefer Divrei Malkiel writes to explain the reason for this difference. He says, saying it in Elul up until Shmini Atzeres, that's because the Medrash says in Parshas Achrimos, based on a drasha, Darsheu al Yom Hadin, it refers to the Day of Judgment, that all of the officers of all of the other nations of the world are going to try to say how the Jews are guilty. And the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says that even in heaven, in Shemayim, the judgment occurs specifically during the day and not at night. Similar to in this world, Beis Din, Jewish courts only sit during the day, not at night. Happens to be that even secular courts don't really adjourn at night, to my understanding. And it says in Sanhedrin, on Daf Pei Ches, that Beis Din, the courts, sit until the time of the Tamid Shel Bein Arbaim. So that's the afternoon korban that they would bring daily, which we daven mincha in place of. Mincha is instead of the afternoon korban tamid. And that's why some have the custom to say it at mincha. They hold you want to say it during the beginning of the judgment and at the end of the judgment of the day. Those who hold that you should say it at Marav, their reasoning is that there are some countries that there's different time zones. It's day when it could be night somewhere else. So it could very well be that we really go after the time zone in Yerushalayim, in Israel. And therefore, consequently, in other countries, right, the time zone's different. The Inkin Yesh Bashar Medinos B'Kol Laila, Eze Eish Azu Yoim Yerushalayim. It could, even though it's night over here, it could be day over there. And that's why you said it at night. Interesting understanding for some deeper reasons behind this idea over here. Yeah, it's basically just explaining why some have a custom to do it. The reason to do it during Mincha, in short, is because Mincha is the end of the judgment. So you want to do it in the beginning of the judgment, aka Shachris, and at the end of the judgment, the ledovid. For those who don't hold that way, they say no. You go after the Israel time zone. And therefore, even though it's night over here, it's day over there. Therefore, you would still say it at night.
So we're being judged for, was Hoshana Rabbah we're talking about the last day, or Shmini Atzeret?
Just judged in general.
Just
judgment in general, yeah, it follows
When
judgment.
you say mincha, it sounds like night. I'm saying a lot of people will say it by mincha, like mincha gadola, like 2:00.
Right. So that would be going like the opinion that says towards the end of the judgment time already, even though it's a few hours before. Still, that's probably what they would say according to this. Or there could be other reasons, but this is what we're presented with right now. We'll have to keep digging or look around more to see if there's anything else. U'b'makaymo says the Mishnah Berurah in the continuation. She'oimrim oiso achar gamar hatfilo v'roish chodesh sheish lahakdim mizmor baruch nafshi. This is actually a very questionable idea. In places rather, where they say after davening on Rosh Chodesh, ledovid should come before Baruch Nafshi. Similarly, in places where they say it after Shachris, and they say the Shir Shal Yom that we say every single day. Shir Shal Yom Acher Tefillah Shachris. The custom is to say the Shir Shal Yom after Shachris. Yesh lahaktem a Shir Shal Yom. The Shir Shal Yom should come first.
That means there were places who didn't,
No.
even by the time the Mishnah Berurah didn't say the Shir Shayom after Oleno.
No. Where do you see that?
No, again, Gamkein Lama right, in the places where,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Koshomer also Achar Tefillah Shachar.
Yeah.
The Nohagin Gamkein Lama Shir Shayom.
Yeah.
There's a minhag to say Shir
That's right. Minhag to say. But Shir Shal Yom comes first before
I
Ledovid.
understand, but it doesn't sound like it was part of the tefillah. It sounds like, maybe.
Came after Shemona Esrei. What do you mean?
I don't know, it doesn't say like it's.
It says Acher. Acher Tefillah Shachris. Right over here.
No, I'm trying to say we're minhag.
That's going on with David, right? The Nogan Gam Kain Lomar Shir Shem, it's like an after. It's like.
Hold on.
and-
V'chein b'makoyim ha'sha'orim moisa Acher
Oh,
Tefillah
so
Shachris.
with the David.
When they say Ledovid after Shachris, v'nohagin
Noagin.
Gam kin lomar Shir Shal Yom Acher Tefillah Shachris. We have a custom to say Shir Shal Yom after Shachris. Shir Shal Yom should come before Ledovid.
So I'm just saying the topic of Shir Shem, it sounds like it wasn't.
No,
part of
yeah.
davening.
Yeah, sure not.
I don't know. Okay, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah, add it after.
I'm not going to skip it. Don't worry. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no question there. Now, the obvious idea behind this is we have a Tadr v'shein Tadr Kodim situation over here. The Mizmor of Baruchi Nafshi is more Tadr, and Shir Shal Yom is more Tadr as well. The Mateh Ephraim explains what's more common. Shir Shal Yom comes first because it's the most common. Then Baruchi Nafshi. Right? Now, we have to just take 2 steps back. Ubemakoyma sha'oimrim. Where's my box?
Mother.
Here it is. Here's the box. In places where they have the custom, right over here, these 2 lines. In places where they have the custom to say after davening on Rosh Chodesh, Baruchi Nafshi comes before the David. How many times do we say Baruchi Nafshi a year?
So what is Tadr?
12.
12?
Yeah.
Probably more than 12 because we have
18.
2 days.
15, that's it.
How many times do we say LeDavid?
At least 40,
Mhm.
right?
And we say it twice.
More, yeah.
Twice a day.
Yeah, right, twice a day.
Right?
Yeah.
Which one sounds more common to you?
The David.
So that's a machlokas. What's the lashon? What does Tadr mean?
Oh. Yeah, so what does it mean?
So it depends.
Very
Does it
good.
right? So does it mean an
You learned this
interval?
or we discussed it?
We may have discussed it or
We
learned it
discussed
in
it
the
in
past,
Halachos.
etc. Because
Yeah, intervals. Very good.
Definitely.
So over here it says it's more common. And also Shir Shal Yom. So over here in the footnote they say, you see from over here, Baruchi Nafshi is considered more common than the Mizmor of LeDavid Hashamori. Even though the Mizmor of LeDavid is said more times. And the reason is since Baruchi Nafshi is said in scattered times throughout. That's the Shal Shubas Lahoros. Nasan, Chelek Hey, Siman Lamed Aleph.
You disagree with that? Can you flip it?
You could disagree with whatever you want.
I'm saying no.
The question is, does your opinion have validity?
No, I mean, but
You
yeah.
know,
my question-
back to that again.
But I'm saying like over here, it's
Yeah.
obvious that
You could.
David's more.
From a mathematical perspective, 100% you're correct. 100%. Question is there any shul on Rosh Chodesh? Elul.
They won't do it.
or-
Yeah, they won't do it.
right.
I'm saying, so can you flip it? Can you
Or what
say,
is there any shul that says Ladav before Baruchi?
They don't. But I'm saying, but can you flip it? Can you say,
Apparently you can't.
that's my question. You're saying you can't ignore the shield and say this is more tadir. I'm not doing like them.
Apparently you can't.
I don't think you're over. A
Hold on,
chatos
hold
if
on.
you do it,
Hold
but
on, before we jump to
I don't think you're
conclusions.
over a chatos that you
No,
do
for
it.
sure not. But the question is what's right. Before we jump to conclusions, I want to just say what I have in my notes from 6 years ago when I looked up this Charles Jubas Lahiris Nassan. Okay. He writes over there, Zel Shoino. Avi Baruchi Nafshi Tadir Kevan Shu Bezmanim Harbe. Baruchi Nafshi is more common because it's in a lot of different times. All right. Now, before we jump to conclusions over here, the Dirshu in footnote 5 quotes the Emes Liakov, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, who explains that even though ledovid is done more times, many more times than Baruch Nafshi, nevertheless, Baruch Nafshi comes first because we say it because it's the day of Rosh Chodesh. As opposed to ledovid, we're not saying it for the actual day. In other words, we see an idea of when something is said special for that day, even though it's less common, it could come before something that's more common that's not said for that day. That's what it says over here.
Spring Raya.
No, you can look it up though. It's not me. I mean, I could pull it up on the screen in 20 seconds also. Right? It's one sefer on Dalit Chalki. No, there's one Emes Yaakov on 4 sections of Shulchan Aruch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually have it also physical volume at home.
It was about Torah, it's about the parsha.
No, that's Chumash. That's more known.
Yeah, no.
This is less known because most people don't learn Halachos.
Yeah,
right, especially in depth. So, just being honest, brutally. But yeah, that's what I do. In footnote 2 in the Dereshim Mishnah Berurah, it's like this. Let's say, right, you have the custom to say after Mincha, right? Ledovid, right? So that's
okay.
So we have difference between Sfard and Ashkenaz, Sfardi, right? Nusach Sfard, right? So let's say your custom is to say it after Mincha. I think in the good over here they do it after Mincha, right? Yeah. Okay. So you're davening Nusach Sfard, and now you're davening at night Ma'ariv and Nusach Ashkenaz. Okay. So they quote from Shlomo Zalman Auerbach in the Halachos Shlomo on Rosh Hashanah Orchos Halacha in footnote 3, who says you got to say it a second time. You got to do it. I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, I'm saying it 3 times." Okay, so now they explain like this, and we're gonna explain this more. We're gonna sit on this a little bit. They want to say in parentheses that the opposite would also be accurate. If you're Ashkenaz and you're davening Nusach Sfard Minyan Mincha, you should say ledovid with them.
Okay.
Okay? So you should say it with whatever min you're at. However, Rav Shama Levi Yashiv is quoted in the Be'er Yisrael on page Yud Ches, who says that if you say it in Mincha, you don't need to say it again in Ma'ariv. And that's what the Mishnah Halachos also rules, that you don't need to say it again.
But can you if you want though, or is it okay to say?
Well, you have machloikis. You could do it, but you don't need to, according to that opinion.
But you can.
So you have a machloikis over here if you need to do it again or not.
So just to if an Ashkenaz who said it by Marav and Shachar is davening by a Sfard place by Mincha, and they're saying it, one should say it according to.
If you want to cover all opinions, then you should say it. That's right. Now,
and let's say if you're davening Marav by a Sfard place and you're an Ashkenaz and they're not saying it.
I was not thinking that way. You didn't say it for the day, so can you just
you should probably say it.
You should probably say, because it's interesting that they're going according to the, to the day according, not the halachic day. Halachic day is night, day.
That's right.
Whereas he's saying if you didn't say, it sounded like
it's kind of like a loitis going to do thing.
Until the mincha latches onto that night. That's what it seems like, right?
Not really.
Not really.
The problem is you're separating from the tzibur. I mean, you have Alter Fishman at tzibur, loitis code. In the Piskei Tshuvos, there's 2 versions over here. I got the newer one. The problem is when I did this the first time, and it's got all my underlines and everything. It's in the old one. I'll try to match up the footnotes. Footnotes are totally off.
Did you redo all the volumes or just?
No, some of them. This one was a redone situation. Probably somewhere over here. Oh, you changed the whole footnote around the rear.
Started today by asking what's trying to ratio this. And if the case is
Yeah, here it should be. So this is in the old one. It's footnote 77. So this is going on. The idea of, he said that there is a machloikis, there's an argument with different kihilos, different congregations when to say the ledovid over here. You have different opinions when to do the ledovid. All right, that's what this is saying over here. That's what he says up top, and he says that everyone should do according to their custom. That's basically what he says. Okay, the new one and the old one. That's what he says. So in the old one, it's footnote 77. In the new one, this is going to be footnote 94. The Shilas and Shuvas Divrei Moshe by Moshe Halberstein in Siman Lamed Hey. He says, let's say you're davening in a minyan, that they say it at Mincha, right? But your custom is to do it at Ma'ariv, or vice versa, okay? Or if you said it in one place in davening, so he says, Yachol linhoy kiminhago ve'ein bazem mishum lo yitiskodem. You could go whichever way you want. There's no problem of you separating from them, you're doing different from the congregation. Kevan de'ena ela minhag v'loy she'echad moira heter ve'echad iser. Since at the end of the day, this is a custom. It's not like you're saying over here that, something is prohibited, something is permissible. That's not what's happening over here, right? So, therefore, that's why it would be okay to do. So that's a leniency over there.
He's arguing on what we saw in the deer show.
Yeah, according to one opinion. If we go back to the dare shoe over there, all right, we travel back there. That was, we saw Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says you should say it with them. And in fact, in an old version of the Piskei Teshuvos, he didn't bring that in the continuation of the footnote. However, in the new version of the Piskei Teshuvos, he quotes that Halachos Shlomo, that opinion of Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach that the Dershu just quoted, and he says that you should say it another time with them. So it's interesting how he added that in the new version, that which the Dershu quotes with Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and acknowledges the fact that you should, in fact, say it again. So at the end of the day, you have different opinions over here. At the end of the day, if you're lenient and you don't do it, you don't, it's not the end of the world. The question is walking out early while they're doing it. How respectable or disrespectful that might be. That's something to continue. I'd like to point out that I wrote some notes here 6 years ago when I did this.
Instead of walking out, we better to learn something or do something else.
Maybe. If it's not recognizable at all, if you're changing from the customs that are being done in a shul, there's no loitis go to do issue. This is, I note, it seems like this is what the Shilas Teshuvos Divrei Moshe says. If you look it up. Yeah.
Could I ask something on the same topic, but
yeah, hold on, let me just finish this.
Sure.
Because the man margish im hu omer ledovid who's going to be looking at you to see if you're saying ledovid or not? If you're walking out, that's already what are you doing? You're doing a walkout over here. But if you're there just staring at the sitter looking pretty, who's actually going to be watching to make sure that you're looking at it? The Aruch HaShulchan, in this siman that he quoted in the footnote, siman Tov Reish. Oh, there's actually different siman, excuse me. In siman Tov Reish Nun Aleph, Os Chav Bey says, if one person wants to not shake his daled meat in the lulav, like the rest of the tzibur is, there's different directions that people shake and different. He could do that, and he says, leave him alone. Leave the Jews alone. The Aruch HaShulchan says everyone could go according to the way. Nahar Naro Pashti. Every river goes its way.
I mean, he doesn't shake it all.
Yeah, exactly, or something. Sometimes at the hodus or whatever, right? So you could do that, says the Aruch HaShulchan, as long as you have the right intention. So that is the Aruch HaShulchan. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 questions now. So let's say if a person walks out before they say ledovid, that way I guess it would be okay. Or is there something about, let's say right after Olenu?
Don't know about that.
Is that an Indian that's just not walking out early, or is that?
When are you going to walk out? After Kaddish Yosem, after Olenu?
A little right before. You're
missing the last Kaddish.
You'll stay there, but then you're by the door and you're holding the door open.
People see you.
So they see you. Okay, so then
that'd be an issue. That's already, people are seeing you. You got to at least wait there.
Okay. So second question is
I know
just-
you don't like that. You need to wait another minute or two. Oh, every
train-
single second
train
you
makes a
learn Torah
difference.
Kedusha.
the
Yeah, but
train-
someone like Shia who's holding in Kol Torah Kula could just think about so much Torah in those 2 minutes, so it doesn't matter.
train needs to know about it.
The train? Who's taking the train here? Who goes on
And
the
not
train?
now, I'm saying, but I used to a long time ago.
Okay, but you don't now, so it doesn't apply, so forget about it. Okay.
Okay, so next, Minyan also Minyan.
Yeah.
You're an Ashkenaz and you're davening in a Sfard Minyan by Tachton, right? Your minhag is not to say Hashem. I mean, I pass.
Oh, we're going-
I
we're going
pass,
to
but I'm
Tachton now?
assuming it's a low Siskodu if you like put your head
Hafnan,
down.
let me just tell you right now.
and
If you're Ashkenaz and you're davening Nusach Sfard Minyan, not only is it prohibited to put your head down, which we'll learn about in Mitzvah Hashem when we learn Hilchos Tachnun, but in fact there's an obligation to join when
To
they
join.
say Hashem, Hashem, Kal Rachum, V'chanu, Nerech Apayim. You got to join in there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Is that brought down anywhere?
That is, when we learn Hilchos Tachnun, we will see about that.
Okay, but
We
that
can only do one
that's
thing
true.
at a time. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just
Yeah.
doing the same minions.
Wait, Hilchos
But the
Tachanun is
beauty
next?
is that once we do it, we have the notes to always go back to, and we know we learned the topic, so then we're good.
Wait,
By the
what's
way,
next?
I said yesterday when we started the simon, it's around 20 simanim in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah. It will take us 20 years. I backtrack. We already learned one simon, so it's one simon less. Tough Kuf Pei Gimel, so one simon less. What'd you say, David?
When's Hilchos Tachanun?
Yeah, okay. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's continue with the next
Okay.
Mishnah Berurah. Oh, there's my beautiful box. It's still there.
Still there.
Isn't technology so beautiful when you use it for the right reasons? My beautiful box. Okay, moving right along. Gimel in the Mishnah Berurah. All right. Yesh maschila miyoim rishon derosh chodesh. All right. So what's this talking about over here? Yeah. Now we're gonna shift gears to slichos. I meant to Ashkenaz custom. The Ramah argues on the Shulchan Aruch. He says, no, we don't start slichos from Rosh Chodesh Elul. We're going to slichos before we really talk about the ledovid. Rather, we start blowing the shofar from Rosh Chodesh Elul. Slichos we start later, right? Like we learned yesterday, and like we'll learn about in the next session more. But we start blowing shofar from the beginning of Rosh Chodesh Elul. Comes along the Mishnah Berurah and Gimel. Yesh matzchilin. Some have the custom miyoim rishon to begin from the first day of Rosh Chodesh. V'yesh maschilin miyoim sheni de Rosh Chodesh, and some start on the second day of Rosh Chodesh. V'chein chasub b'siddur derech chaim, and that's what is written in the siddur of the derech chaim. What's the difference? Why would sometimes you start on the first day of Rosh Chodesh, according to some, and according to others, it's the second day?
You learned.
We did?
Didn't we? It depends when Moshe Rabbeinu came down or up and down the mountain.
Very good. Very good. Extra points on the report card. I used that line the other night.
Still starting.
I used that line the other night between Mincha and Marav. There were like 20 people or something.
I
You know.
love it.
Some people got a kick out of it. Not enough that you could, yeah.
I'd say anybody
gotta
under
kick.
18 got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Over 18. got a
Over
kick out
18.
of it.
Yeah. You have to be 18 or older to laugh. Okay. So what's the difference? This is based on what the Magen Avraham says. If you're going to go first day Rosh Chodesh, because that is 40 days before Yom Kippur where Moshe went up to Har Sinai. Right? And one of the reasons why we blow shofar, as we learned yesterday, is because Moshe went up to Har Sinai then, and they blew the shofar to remind the people to not to be involved with idolatry. However, the opinion that holds that you start from the second day of Rosh Chodesh, quoted by the Magen Avraham, there's two reasons. Number one, they said that you should blow shofar for a duration of 30 days. They based on the pasuk b'chodesh shofar, a full month, 30 days. So if you're going to blow from the first day of Elul, so it's only going to be 28 days, because Erev Rosh Hashanah, we're not going to blow it. And then you have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, you get 30 days. Interesting calculation. Another explanation is you're going to hold like the Medrash Tanchuma, says that Moshe went up on the second day of Rosh Chodesh Har Sinai, and it was a leap year that year, and therefore you do it on the second day of Rosh Chodesh. Okay, technical reasonings over there. The letter on that? Yeah, let's just go to Tess in this footnote, the short one. Rabbi Frankel in the Hagos says that the Shabbos in between, you don't blow, it doesn't count as a hefsek, and it doesn't hold as an interruption, and that you are detracting from the number.
I'm sorry, I may have spaced out. Why
Yeah.
is the number of days important?
30, because we want it to be for a duration of 30, a full month.
Want to be at what?
It says over here, that's what the Chamim enacted, it should be for 30 days. They based it on a pasuk in Tehillim Tiku b'chodesh. Shofar. It should be a chodesh. A chodesh is a month, which is 30 days, a full month. Yeah,
I mean, the plain push-up shot of the pasuk is just
yeah, 100%. So that's
Okay.
another technical reason. The Mishnah Berurah continues and says, actually, before we continue the Mishnah Berurah, let's pick it up with this Ramah. You blow after Shachris, yeah? Before we continue in the Mishnah Berurah, the Ramah said some places they blow at Marv, shofar. You ever seen this?
nope. Has
Me
I've
neither.
seen it?
No. So the Oz V'Hadar, Mishnah Berurah says, what is this about Marv? This is quoted in the Torah, and the Maharil says, you don't want to start on Rosh Chodesh if you're going to blow shofar at night also, because Moshe went up in the day. But look down here. There's a tshuva from a Moshe Feinstein that they quote in the Shal Tshuva Sigros Moshe Orchaim Chilik Daled Simin Chof Aleph Osei that says it's logical to say that the intention over here is not that they blew shofar at night. Like Shai just said before, no one blows shofar at night. Why not? It's not Neis Ratzon. It's not a special time to blow shofar at night. Just look at the Shari Tshuva talks about it over here. Now the Torah says that they would blow shofar when what? When it was day. However, the explanation could be, those plag of mincha minyanim? Those are during day. So if you're going to have a plag mincha and it's during day, that's when you would blow at night. But it would really still be day. Could be.
It's not espresso, it's too late. It's like semi.
That's what he's saying over here.
So why not
He's
blow
saying
by
it's not an
mincha?
espresso, he's saying.
It might not blow by mincha. Well, let's see the next line. It's also explicit in Mechai Adam based on this. If you forgot to blow shofar in the morning, you should blow after mincha. It's part of this custom. It's not even tashlumin that you're making it up. Why do you do that? Mincha, look over there. He explains the reason to do it specifically after shachris. Okay, that's already something else. We'll have to see that tshuva. That's actually an important tshuva.
No, Achash.
I actually wrote over here. What does it say over there? The Moshe writes, why do we blow shofar shachris during Elul?
That's what we just said.
Right, Rav Moshe. Kavu ze b'shachris sha'akol metzuyin bebeis hakneses. Everyone's around. Everyone's around in the morning. With mincha ina kol metzuyin. Is everyone around mincha? Nothing doing. Begam b'shachris shehu koidim sheyoitzim l'malachasin. Morning, it's before people go to work. Adif lehisoyder l'tshuva. We should think about repentance. Kedei lehisnaig b'derech haTorah be'asakav. In order that we follow the Torah path when we're at work, follow the right way. So this is where it comes from, specifically in the morning. As to why the custom was only at night, not mincha. There's what to look into there. But according to this explanation, it wasn't actually at night. Maybe it could have been mincha according to this idea.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about how certain places, because people leave early, they blow like after some places blow like I think before Ashrei.
Really?
Yep,
Never heard of that. It's a real thing?
I think so.
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna have to see if anyone will discuss that. I don't remember seeing anything on that.
Let's say those train people,
Yeah, it could be the practical
they mentioned they
consideration.
blow
I,
by
I
mincha.
understand
People
that.
with the
I've never
shofar.
heard about that. What we will discuss is stand with the question. I mean, we're in the middle of this Mishnah Berurah. We have to make a mental note where we're up to. But
Control the arrows.
draw the arrow. Yeah, good idea. But what we will have to discuss is if you're davening by yourself If you're davening by yourself, so then does this apply or not? If you're davening by yourself. In other words, this idea of saying shofar, right, in the morning over here. So is this only if you're in a tzibur, or is this also if you are even by yourself? And about making it up, could you make it up by yourself, or the entire tzibur? Yeah, the shofar blowing. What are we up to over here? V'yish l'tchaya b'kol boker acher tefillah. I think we're up to this.
I think we were about to start this.
Yeah, we're about to start that.
No?
Okay, yeah, correct. So we're gonna pick it up from right there tomorrow.
So
Keep
did we
plowing through
talk-
this.
did
Yeah.
Again, did we talk about, I forgot what the answer was, that you're in Ashkenaz and you're there by Marav,
Yeah.
by the Sfar.
Yeah.
So they're not saying ledovid.
Yeah. We didn't see anyone bring that down, but you should probably say it because that's
That's not a big
that's-
deal. So look,
That's your say. That's not really the shaila because you're supposed to say that because that's your nusach. The question is when you're davening on a nusach that isn't yours, a place that isn't yours,
You're saying.
do you need to follow through on
How is that not lowest facility that you're doing something different than everybody else?
So
we just said because it's not recognizable.
After davening, you just
I
yeah.
mean,
That's what we just said.
I was at a Sfard Minyan last year, and then they go through it. If people do it, it's recognizable. Like they're doing one thing.
Oh, it's recognizable that you were doing your own thing. So what?
I mean,
You can say Tehillim after
That's a
davening.
good point. You can say stuff.
What's the point? You can do whatever you want after
Whatever you
davening.
want. That's a good point.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because after davening, I guess, so that's the
Okay.
points.
Yeah. All right. So I'll pick it up from here tomorrow. We're not going to do parts this week because I gave 2 parts this year between Mincha and Marav. They're up online.
You're up online.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't need to spend time doing it over here.
Okay.
We'll just keep going with the halacha.
Okay, and
You're the halacha man, right?
Mhm.
the Rav is.
Okay. Very
We're here
good.
for we love the Rav Star.
This is good. This is good. I mean, this
Okay,
is
it's great stuff. Absolutely.
yeah. This is if you just look at the real estate of this, we barely touched it. But the beginning is more